Hi, I'm Bill Nye, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of the respiratory system. It's the unsung hero of your body. You may not see it, but it's working hard every second. It's busy taking in air and extracting the oxygen. Oxygen is crucial for our bodies. Our cells need it to function. They use oxygen to create energy. Without it, we wouldn't last very long. The respiratory system makes sure we have a constant supply. The respiratory system also removes carbon dioxide, acting like our body's exhaust system. Section 2, an amazing journey. Think of the respiratory system as a complex network of airways. These airways act like roads carrying air in and out of our lungs. It's a remarkable journey that happens with every breath we take. Get ready to discover the power of your breath. Section 1. The airways, our body's highway system. Imagine a vast network of roads and tunnels. These pathways, called airways, carry air throughout our bodies. It's a two-way street with air coming in and going out. At the helm of this system are the lungs. They're like two large sponges, constantly expanding and contracting. The lungs are where the magic happens. It's where oxygen enters our blood and carbon dioxide leaves. These passageways make up the upper and lower respiratory tracts. The upper respiratory tract acts as the entry point, filtering, warming and moistening the air. Section 2, upper respiratory tract, the starting line. Our journey begins in the nasal cavity, the space behind your nose. It's the first line of defense, lined with tiny hairs called cilia. These cilia act like filters, trapping dust and other particles. Next, the air travels down the pharynx or throat. This muscular tube serves as a passageway for both air and food. From the pharynx, the air flows into the larynx, also known as the voice box. Finally, we reach the trachea or windpipe reinforced with rings of cartilage. The cartilage ensures the trachea doesn't collapse, keeping the airway open. Section 3, lower respiratory tract, venturing deeper. As we venture deeper into the respiratory system, we encounter the bronchi. These two large tubes branch off from the trachea, one leading to each lung. Inside the lungs, the bronchi continue to divide into smaller branches called bronchioles. At the end of these bronchioles, we find microscopic air sacs called alveoli. These alveoli are the sites of gas exchange, where oxygen enters our blood and carbon dioxide is removed. Section 1, conducting zone, preparing the air we breathe. The conducting zone acts as a dedicated air conditioner, ensuring the air we breathe is just right for our lungs. It includes all the structures we've discussed so far, from the nasal cavity down to the bronchioles. As air travels through the conducting zone, it undergoes a remarkable transformation. First, it's warmed to body temperature, preventing our delicate lung tissues from getting a chill. Next, the air is humidified, adding moisture to prevent our airways from drying out. Finally, the air is filtered, removing dust, pollen, and other unwanted particles. The conducting zone ensures our airways stay comfortably moist and clean. Section 2, respiratory zone, where the magic happens. As we leave the conducting zone, we enter the respiratory zone, the site of gas exchange. This zone is where the real magic of breathing takes place. The respiratory zone consists of the smallest bronchioles, called respiratory bronchioles, and the alveoli. The alveoli are perfectly designed for gas exchange. Their walls are incredibly thin, just one cell thick, allowing for rapid diffusion of gases. They're also surrounded by a network of capillaries, the smallest blood vessels in our bodies. Oxygen from the inhaled air diffuses across the thin alveolar walls and into the surrounding capillaries. At the same time, carbon dioxide diffuses from the capillaries into the alveoli, ready to be exhaled. Section 3, the dance of gases, a delicate balance. The exchange of gases in the respiratory zone is a delicate dance, carefully orchestrated to maintain a stable internal environment. The driving force behind this gas exchange is a difference in partial pressures. Oxygen enters the alveoli with each breath, creating a higher partial pressure of oxygen compared to the oxygen-depleted blood arriving from the body. Conversely, carbon dioxide has a higher partial pressure in the blood arriving at the alveoli compared to the air inside the alveoli. This continuous exchange of gases ensures our cells receive a constant supply of oxygen while removing harmful carbon dioxide. Section 1. Alveoli, the tiny sacs of life. We've reached the heart of the respiratory system, the alveoli. These tiny air sacs, clustered like grapes at the end of the bronchioles, are the true marvels of breathing. They're so small you could fit millions of them in your hand. Imagine the alveoli as delicate balloons, their walls just one cell thick. This thinness is crucial for their function, allowing oxygen and carbon dioxide to easily pass through. Surrounding each alveolus is a web of capillaries, the tiniest blood vessels in our bodies. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with fresh air. The oxygen in the air reaches the alveoli and quickly diffuses into the surrounding capillaries. Section 2, macrophages, the alveolar guardians. While the alveoli are busy with gas exchange, another important process is taking place: protection. Macrophages are specialized white blood cells that act like tiny vacuum cleaners, patrolling the alveoli and engulfing any foreign particles they encounter. They're the security guards of the respiratory system, ensuring the air sacs stay clean and healthy. These microscopic superheroes are constantly on the move, their surfaces covered in tiny arms that reach out and grab onto invaders. Once captured, the foreign particles are engulfed by the macrophage and broken down into harmless pieces. Macrophages play a vital role in keeping our lungs healthy. They're our first line of defense against respiratory infections, preventing harmful microbes from taking hold. Their tireless efforts ensure our respiratory system can function properly, allowing us to breathe easily and stay healthy. Hold on to your hats, science fans, because we're about to witness the incredible process of pulmonary diffusion. This is where the real magic happens. The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the alveoli and the capillaries. Remember those thin-walled alveoli we talked about? Well, they're the key players in this exchange, and right next door to these alveoli are the capillaries, microscopic blood vessels carrying red blood cells eager to pick up some oxygen. You inhale deeply, filling your alveoli with fresh, oxygen-rich air. The oxygen molecules rush into the less crowded capillaries where oxygen is in high demand. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide molecules in the capillaries diffuse into the alveoli, where they'll be exhaled with your next breath. This whole process of pulmonary diffusion is a two-way street, driven by a difference in pressure. Oxygen, being in high concentration in the alveoli after a fresh inhale, naturally wants to move to the capillaries, where the oxygen concentration is lower. At the same time, carbon dioxide, being in higher concentration in the capillaries after being collected from the body's tissues, is eager to move to the alveoli, where there's less carbon dioxide. With each breath we take, this incredible exchange takes place. Oxygen rushing in to fuel our cells and carbon dioxide being expelled like an unwelcome guest. It's a delicate dance of life happening right now inside your lungs. We've seen how oxygen enters the bloodstream at the alveoli, but how does it reach the rest of the body? That's where our circulatory system steps in, specifically the pulmonary circuit, a specialized loop dedicated to transporting blood between the heart and lungs. Think of it as an express train, ensuring a swift delivery of oxygen. The right side of the heart pumps deoxygenated blood through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs. These arteries branch out, following the same path as the bronchi and bronchioles, until they reach the capillaries surrounding the alveoli. Here, the magical exchange of gases takes place, with oxygen diffusing into the blood and carbon dioxide leaving. The pulmonary veins carry the oxygen-rich blood back to the left side of the heart, ready to be pumped out to the rest of the body. Section 2, efficiency at rest, a well-oiled machine. At rest, our respiratory system is a model of efficiency. Like a well-tuned engine, it operates smoothly and quietly, supplying our bodies with the oxygen we need without overexerting itself. Despite this reduced activity, the pulmonary circulation continues to function flawlessly. The right side of the heart pumps blood at a lower pressure compared to the left side, which is responsible for systemic circulation. It's a peaceful and efficient process, keeping our bodies balanced and oxygenated. Section 1, the respiratory membrane. A thin line between life and air. Imagine a barrier so thin it's almost invisible. That's the respiratory membrane, a delicate structure where the air we breathe meets our bloodstream. It's the front line of gas exchange, where oxygen and carbon dioxide trade places with breathtaking speed. This remarkable membrane is made up of just 2 layers of cells. The thin, flat cells lining the alveoli and the equally thin cells forming the walls of the capillaries These cells are so tightly packed together they resemble a microscopic mosaic with barely any space between them. And yet, despite its incredible thinness, the respiratory membrane is incredibly strong and resilient. It has to be, considering it's constantly bombarded by millions of air molecules with every breath we take. It's like a microscopic trampoline, able to withstand constant pressure without breaking a sweat. The thinness of the respiratory membrane is crucial for efficient gas exchange. The shorter the distance oxygen and carbon dioxide have to travel, the faster they can move between the alveoli and the bloodstream. It's like having a shortcut on your commute, allowing for quicker travel times. Section 2. Dalton's Law, a balancing act of pressures. Now let's talk about the driving force behind gas exchange: partial pressure. Each gas in a mixture, like the air we breathe, exerts its own pressure, called its partial pressure. Think of it like this. Imagine a party with people chatting at different volumes. Each person's voice contributes to the overall noise level, just like each gas contributes to the total air pressure. Dalton's law states that the total pressure of a gas mixture is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of each individual gas. In other words, it's like adding up the loudness of each person's voice to get the total noise level at the party. In the context of respiration, Dalton's law helps us understand how oxygen moves from the alveoli into the bloodstream and how carbon dioxide moves in the opposite direction. Oxygen's partial pressure is higher in the alveoli than in the oxygen-depleted blood arriving from the body. This difference in pressure creates a gradient, driving oxygen to move from the alveoli into the blood like air rushing out of a punctured tire. Conversely, carbon dioxide's partial pressure is higher in the blood arriving at the alveoli than in the air inside the alveoli. This difference in pressure causes carbon dioxide to move from the blood into the alveoli, where it's exhaled with the next breath. Section 3. Henry's Law, dissolving gases in a liquid landscape. We've seen how gases move from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, but how do these gases actually enter and exit the bloodstream? That's where Henry's Law comes in, explaining how gases dissolve in liquids like our blood. Imagine dropping a sugar cube into a glass of water. The sugar dissolves or disperses throughout the water, eventually becoming evenly distributed. Gases behave similarly when they come into contact with liquids. Henry's law states that the amount of gas that dissolves in a liquid is proportional to the partial pressure of that gas above the liquid. In simpler terms, the higher the pressure of a gas above a liquid, the more of that gas will dissolve into the liquid. This principle is crucial for understanding how oxygen enters the bloodstream at the alveoli and how carbon dioxide enters the alveoli from the blood. The higher partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli drives oxygen to dissolve into the thin layer of moisture lining the alveolar walls. From there, it easily diffuses into the nearby capillaries, where it binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells, ready for transport throughout the body. Conversely, the higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the blood arriving at the alveoli causes carbon dioxide to diffuse out of the blood and into the alveoli, where it's exhaled with the next breath. Henry's law helps explain this delicate balance of gas exchange, ensuring our bodies receive the oxygen they need while efficiently removing waste carbon dioxide. Section 1. Blood gases, the vital balance. We've explored the intricate workings of the respiratory system, from the moment air enters our nostrils to the magical exchange of gases at the alveoli. But our journey isn't over yet. We need to understand the importance of maintaining the right balance of gases in our blood, a delicate equilibrium known as homeostasis. Our bodies are incredibly sensitive to changes in blood gas levels, especially oxygen and carbon dioxide. Too much or too little of either gas can have serious consequences for our health. Think of it like a car engine. It needs the right fuel-air mixture to run smoothly. Similarly, our cells need the right balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide to function properly. Oxygen, as we've learned, is crucial for energy production. Without enough oxygen, our cells can't function properly, leading to fatigue, shortness of breath, and even organ damage. On the other hand, too much carbon dioxide can make our blood acidic, disrupting the delicate pH balance our bodies rely on. Our respiratory system works tirelessly to maintain this vital balance, constantly adjusting our breathing rate and depth to ensure our blood gas levels stay within a narrow, healthy range. It's like a vigilant conductor, keeping the symphony of our bodies in perfect harmony. Section 2. The respiratory system, a symphony of life. Take a moment to appreciate the incredible orchestra of organs, tissues, and cells that make up your respiratory system. From the mighty diaphragm contracting and relaxing with each breath to the tiny alveoli diligently exchanging gases, it's a symphony of life playing out within us every second of every day. We often take breathing for granted, but it's a truly remarkable feat of engineering and coordination. Every breath we take is a testament to the intricate workings of our bodies, a delicate dance between the air we breathe and the lifeblood that sustains us. So, next time you inhale deeply, filling your lungs with fresh air, remember the incredible journey that air has taken and the vital role it plays in keeping you alive and thriving. Your respiratory system is a precious gift, and understanding how it works empowers you to take better care of your health and appreciate the wonder of your own body. Remember, science is everywhere, even in the air we breathe. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop being curious about the world around you, and most importantly, keep breathing.